Welcome back. My name is Erica. This video is all about cast iron, okay? A little bit of a backstory. About 5.5, 6 years ago, I made the switch to all cast iron and stainless steel. I got rid of all my non-stick pans, and I've been using the same I started with 3 cast iron pans from Lodge. I love them. They're great. They've worked amazing over the last few years, and I have collected several over time. So I got, here, let me just show you. So here is the original stack that I had. This is the 7-inch. I use this a lot for, like, if I'm just making myself an egg or some eggs. My husband will use it for the same purpose. Works great. It's really easy for just like a single serve type thing. Okay, this is the 10-inch. I like using this a lot for skillet type meals, you know, like a pound of hamburger, mixing it, like making tacos, that kind of stuff. So this gets used obviously all the time. And then this big daddy is the 12-inch. I purposely got the dual handles because cast iron is heavy, and these are particularly heavy, and I didn't want just one handle. So I got the dual handle. Pretty sure this is the 12-inch. I'll leave everything linked down below that I can. You can get them on Amazon. You can get them at Target, Walmart, pretty much everywhere. I like making Dutch babies in this, or if I'm browning a bunch of meat at once, this is really nice. So these are kind of my 3 staple pieces. Then I have this little guy that I don't know if I did a video on it, but I restored it. It's just this tiny little thing. I usually use this for like in the morning. I like to put like toasted coconut and some almonds on yogurt bowls. So I'll do that. I'll toast them up in here, melt butter, that kind of stuff. And it's cute. So there's that one. And then I've got this griddle. My in-laws got it for me a few years ago. Use it all the time to make pancakes and that kind of stuff. It is super rusty on the back. I hate griddle pans. Okay, so I never use this side, and just moisture and stuff has gotten it rusty. I need to probably take care of it at some point, but I don't use this side to cook on. I always use this side, so I don't really care about it right now. And then I have had a few other pieces over time that I ended up donating because I just didn't really use them much. But the real reason we're here, I have some other pieces that need some attention. So we're gonna get those and talk about those. This is my next cast iron. I got this last summer. Yeah, I think last summer. So it's an enameled Dutch oven. And okay, so she's a mess. And actually it looks better than it did. So over this summer or in the spring, I thought it would be a great idea to put this on the grill and make French fries. And it was a bad idea because ever since then, it has just looked like garbage. I have been able to clean it up. This actually looks good, if you can believe it. Now I know these get a little, you know, discolored and things get baked on them because I use this mostly for chicken in the oven or sourdough bread. That's really why I bought it. But I do use it a lot. And so just, you know, at high temperatures, things are getting baked onto it. So I knew it wasn't going to look pristine forever, but it could look better. And so in this video, I want to talk about cleaning cast iron and restoring it. And we're actually going to go through cleaning this enameled cast iron because this is kind of a whole new ball game for me. I didn't really do a lot of research, but I did buy something that I'm hoping is going to help. So we're going to figure out how to make this look better, and then we're going to restore some vintage cast iron. Let's talk about that. Okay, so I've got 2 pieces behind me, and well, one behind me, one right here. Now, over the summer, last month really, we went back to Wisconsin, and my parents know that I love cast iron, and my stepdad actually had someone reach out to him. It's a family member kind of thing. Anyway, had a shed that had stuff in it. Someone had passed away, unfortunately, and left behind some stuff. And, you know, they said, do you want to come over and look through the shed, see if there's anything you want? Well, he found a bunch of cast iron. Now, he knew I liked cast iron, so he snagged them and waited to show me until we got there to see if I wanted any. And there were several pieces, I think 3 or 4. So I looked through them, and we were sitting on their porch, and they were pretty rusty. So we took some steel wool and kind of got a little bit of stuff off of them to just see. I wanted to see if there were any maker's marks on the bottom of them. Not that it totally mattered, but it's kind of cool to see. So this first one is a Wagner wall, or what Wagner ware. I'm going to do some more research, see if I can pull up more and find this particular one so I can show you. But I believe that hopefully we got the right lid for this. It fits pretty well, so we thought that it was the correct lid. There are markings in here, but it doesn't say Wagner ware. So anyway, this one, I cleaned them both up just a little bit, just soap and water before we came because I didn't want to transport them. I mean, they were in a shed, so they were icky. But this one, hopefully you can see this. It's rusty, nothing terrible. This side looks pretty good. The inside, again, rusty, but not really that bad. And here's the bottom. The plan is, at least for this one, pretty minimal effort, I think. Give it a really good scrub. And then get it seasoned up, and I think it's gonna look amazing, and I'm so excited to use this. Okay, now this one is in worse shape, but we were able to scrape off enough on the bottom to find out that this is a Griswold. I've heard of Griswold before, know it's vintage. So the inside of this one looks pretty decent. I'm not really concerned about that. However, the bottom is pretty worn. It almost looks like someone put it in a fire and it's just burned. So we're gonna have to do a little bit of heavy lifting on this one. So I've got some ideas. And then we found, this is another lid. I don't know if this is the correct lid for that. When we were doing just a little bit of research, it looked like it might, but I thought it was very unique and cool because it's pounded, I guess. I don't know what that is called, but I thought it was really cool. So that was a long intro to say we're going to be cleaning some cast iron today. I'm excited to take you along on the journey. I love cast iron. Obviously, I've been using it exclusively for the last, I think it's been 5.5, 6 years. Like end of 2019 is when I switched everything over. And yeah, so we're going to start with the enameled cast iron Dutch oven. Try a few tricks, see if we can get it looking better. I think we can. And then we're gonna tackle these vintage cast iron pots that I'm just over the moon about. So let's go ahead. Okay, so we're gonna focus on let's start with the bottom and the sides of this enameled cast iron. So I'm going to start with the barkeeper's friend. I did this the other night. I've tried cleaning this for months now, but the barkeeper's friend does work pretty well. So we're gonna see what I can get off just by scrubbing it. I am gonna use these stainless steel scrubbers instead of the Scrub Daddy. Oh, it is better. Oh yeah, that is working so good. You can see it coming off. It's so satisfying. Okay, this is such an improvement. Much better. So now, out of desperation, I bought this Lodge enameled cast iron cleaner. It says not to use abrasive things. Well, I already did that. Okay, let's try her out. I'm gonna use this on the inside. Oh, I see what it's like, a paste. I could have just probably made that on my own, but oh well. All right, we'll use the Scrub Daddy for this. Let's see. Smells good. I feel like this isn't doing anything. I'm gonna break the rules. especially on these parts. Oh yeah. It's okay to break the rules sometimes, kids. And this is working good. I'm not really even scrubbing it that hard. Okay, let's just rinse and see what it looks like so far. We can compare. Okay, there's that side. All right, I'm gonna keep working on this. Okay, next up is the lesser of two evils. We're gonna do this one. It's just, I'm gonna give it a really deep, good scrub with the stainless steel scrubber, Barkeeper's Friend. Just try to get off as much of the rust. I also have a rust eraser. Yeah, let's see how much we can clean this up, and then it'll just need to be seasoned. So yeah, let's do that. Okay, those are drying, that first pan, the Wagner ware. Now on to Mac Daddy. That's what we're gonna call it, Mac Daddy. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the lid. That's gonna be the easiest. It's rusty, not crazy, but I think we can just easily scrub this stuff off. So that's what we're gonna do first. I'm liking the combination of the Barkeeper's Friend. These work really good. I got these at Home Depot, but I was at the Dollar Tree and I saw that they have them at the Dollar Tree too. They're just little wire brushes. You could probably even use like a grill brush if you have that. This stainless steel scrubby thing is working pretty good too. And I'm using this enameled stuff. Yeah, so let's get this scrubbed up. after days of scrubbing and seasoning and restoring, I'm ready to share with you all of these cast iron pieces. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the history of them, or at least, what decade they came from and what I've been able to learn about all of them. So we're going to start with the least interesting. I found out that this particular lid is a Lodge lid, most likely for a Dutch oven. I don't know that it's even vintage, just based on the markings that it has on it. That's what I was able to determine. So this piece doesn't go with either of the skillets that I have. Now, I have a whole set of Lodge over here, and it does fit on one of the skillets. So there's that. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it. I don't really have a use for it. I don't really need lids. I've got glass lids that fit my cast iron pans really well. So this one might get donated, but I'm glad I know what it is, what the brand is, and I know that I don't actually need it for the skillets that I have. So it looks great. It wasn't in that bad of shape, but not super exciting. Now this lid, on the other hand, is a lot more interesting. I will say, however, it does not belong to either of the pans that I have, but it is a really cool piece in and of itself. So this was manufactured by the Chicago Hardware Foundry. They were a company that was around for a really brief time during the Depression era. So this is a really old piece, and it's really unique because it's hammered. It looks really cool. It doesn't really fit either of my pans, like I said. I did find one just like this for sale on another website. It's going for $125, but I'm not really sure what it went to. I haven't really been able to find anything on that. As I said, it doesn't really fit my pans that I've got, but it's really cool. I mean, this is really old, 100 years old or close to it. So a really cool piece that I'm happy to have. I think I'm going to keep it for a while and see if I use it. Maybe I'll try to sell it at some point. But still really cool. I mean, to have something that's over 100 years old and it's still in good shape is really super awesome. All right, so let's talk about this Wagner ware piece. So it looks pretty good. The inside has always been pretty good. The bottom just needed a little bit of love, and I think we got it there. It's gonna take some time to get these fully seasoned, but I seasoned them in the oven, I think 4 times. So they're usable at this point. I'm just gonna keep seasoning them as I use them. But I love this piece, and I can tell why there's a lot of people who really prefer vintage cast iron over the modern day cast iron. As I said, I don't know if I said it at the beginning of this video, but it's lighter. And the surface for this one in particular is so smooth, and I just like it. So what I've been able to find out about this piece is that this is a vintage chicken fryer. So I believe it would have had a glass lid that went on top of it. On the back, it's Wagner ware Sydney 0. The pattern number is 1088B. So based on that information, I was able to determine, at least from the research that I found, that this was probably manufactured between the year 1939 to 1959, I believe. Somewhere in that range. I might have the dates wrong. Hold on. I lied. Between 1935 and 1959. So this is still over 60 years old, if not closer to 100 years old, or 90, I guess. But that's what I was able to determine from this. It's super cool. The reason how I could figure that out is because Wagner ware had different logos over the years. And so based on this specific logo, that's why. There is also a different variation with there's a ring around some of them. It's called a heat ring, I guess. And that also can indicate the year that it was manufactured. The ones that do have the ring that have the same logo were from an earlier time period. This one doesn't have the ring, so that's why it was probably manufactured between 1935 and 1957. So really solid vintage piece. It's in excellent condition. I have already cooked bacon and a bunch of hamburger. I'll probably show those clips. I love the tall sides of this. I like to cook like hamburger in bulk. And so this was perfect with the taller sides, and then you're not getting as much splattering and stuff. So I am super happy with this. I'm happy with how it turned out, and I'm excited to keep using it. All right, last up is the Griswold. This is a huge improvement to what it was. Lots of scrubbing, lots of scraping, I was able to get most of the old seasoning off, not all of it. I was to the point where I just didn't want to scrub anymore. I probably could have gotten fancier and went out and got different equipment, but I used what I had and I'm happy with it. And again, with this one, I'm just going to continue building that seasoning over time. So I'm really happy with how it turned out. So this one, again, it has the number 8. It has the small logo, Erie, PA, and then the pattern was 704A. So based on that, based on the logo, they switched to this smaller logo in 1939, basically, so it was easy to just stamp it onto blanks. So I don't think this one is as collectible as some of the other patterns in years, but it was manufactured after 1939. That's what I know. So it's obviously old. Don't know exactly how old it is. I do like this one. One thing that I did notice between these vintage ones and my more modern day ones is at least the Lodge has another handle here. So it's a little bit easier to pick up. I still think I like this one better than my Lodge, but I do have two of basically the same size. So whether or not I keep this one, I'm not sure. I think I'm going to for now. But what this has all taught me is that, again, I'll say it, I think vintage is better. Vintage cast iron, I am all for it. I see the difference. Now, there is a difference in quality too, probably. Lodge is made in the US, which is great. But I don't know. I think the quality of the vintage is maybe not quality, but just how they are. I don't know. Just feels a little bit better. So that might be my new thing, collecting some vintage and maybe just getting rid of some of my more modern day pieces. We'll see. I don't know. Time will tell. But this was a fun video. It was really fun to, you know, make these new again, make them usable again. And I had a lot of fun. I love cast iron. I think I've said that a million times in this video already. But thanks so much for being here. Thanks for going on this little journey with me. I know this was a little bit chattier of a video, so if you made it this far, thank you for being here. And if you skipped ahead to this part, also thank you for being here. As I said, I will leave anything I can linked down below. I do have a couple blog posts that talk about how to care for cast iron. So if you're new to cast iron and you want to learn more, I'll leave those linked down below. And yeah, anyway, thanks so much for being here, and I'll see you next time.